Do you guys remember this very sad attempt of a family farmhouse I was trying to make a while back in a speed build video? Yeah, I decided to give it a makeover, so this is the very last time you will see this farmhouse in this state because this over here just turned out like this. Hey guys, my name's Rhea and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build episode with voiceover. Today we are tackling the family farmhouse I did a couple of months ago, and I wanted to give it the makeover I was dreaming basically about ever since Cottage Living came out, but I never got to it. So what you see me here is I am deleting the exterior decorations. I am deleting literally everything, the makeshift pond as well that I used with the fountain tool, and I am basically adding an extension to the house on the left hand side, and I'm also remodeling the whole living room. What I first did was I actually deleted every single bit of furniture and just went in with kind of a cottage living wallpaper type of situation, as well as doors. And I definitely wanted to have this very cottagey feel to it, so I just went ahead and gave all wallpapers a refreshment using the Cottage Living ones. I did leave the bathrooms as they were. I also changed stuff in the exterior, and as you can see, I was toying around with the kind of scheme of how I wanted it to be, because I wanted it to be like half brick, half wood paneling. And yeah, I initially wanted to give it a lot of red, hence the red planters, but I ended up giving it more of a brownish green vibe, as you will see, I hope just in a little bit. But yeah, Cottage Living is out for a couple of months, I do believe, as well, and it's just the dream come true expansion pack for me. It's really, like, it's cute. It has everything I ever wanted from an expansion pack, both in build and buy mode. So yeah, this is where I am deciding on the windows, and it's a pain to replace them because obviously the base game windows aren't the same as the Cottage Living ones, which required me to scoot things over. It looked very weird in the end, and I realized that I would most likely have to redesign the kitchen a bit as well. Now, I ended up, I think, leaving the fridge and the stove from the country kitchen pack, but ended up replacing everything else with the Cottage Living, which is primarily the pack I am using for this build in addition to all others. Now over on here, the room I'm working on now is, I planned it to be a study at first, but then decided to make it a guest bedroom. And yeah, it's this is me being all over the place when building and when doing speed builds. So yeah, you can see me just move back and forth from one bit to the other, and it will happen a few times more as well. And I was kind of toying with the idea to add different columns. Then the Cottage Living ones didn't work out really well. I decided to keep the ones from Strangerville, just switch up in color, and I think I will switch them up again in color as well. And see, this is the difficulty I was having with the columns. I wanted to kind of define the house a bit more, but then figured out it was maybe a bit too much yellow and I wanted to have yellow in accents, and then I went ahead with the Cottage Living columns and just added that additional green so the yellow is minimal but still there. I also love these little windows, the little stained glass windows. It just adds so much character to the build, especially if you build on a smaller scale. And yeah, this is me trying to figure out how to make this living room work, and I in the end decided to just forego that and replace counters in the kitchen. I think these were the original ones were from I think Parenthood. Then I just ended up switching them with the ones from Cottage Living. I also wanted to make a shelf work really badly, but I couldn't decide initially on which one to take, so I just took the one from the Country Kitchen Kit, and I obviously wanted to clutter it up, so I filtered through. I think only it's Kits and Cottage Living I see now. Just I wanted to give it a really very used vibe in a way with all this clutter and everything else. So yeah, I added additional clutter. I also tried to play around with the upper cabinets as well, and that was a task and a half because I initially tried to mimic what I had in the beginning, but it didn't work out because of the windows. So I decided to just go with a very orangey red kitchen, and I think it came out really nice. Also, the dining room wasn't changed all that much. I just added different chairs and I added a different carpet, and I think I am focusing. Yes, I did change the flooring too. I keep forgetting about that. I replaced the one from Jungle Adventure with Cottage Living again, and I am exchanging the bed in the master bedroom as well as the doors, just so it has everything in unison. I don't think I've changed all that much in the kids' bedrooms, and I'm finally working on the living room, and I'm once again going with the reds because I feel like it's very nice. Oh, I did exchange the little sitting bit, the little chair in the kids' bedroom with the mushroom stools. I don't know if they're actually functional. I kind of doubt it, but yeah, I've added a different TV. I also added the Cottage Living lighting, which is actually, I do dare say it's my favorite, to be honest. My favorite so far. And once again, I've added this chair over on where the double seat was, and just a bit more clutter. But yeah, not Country Living, Cottage Living is once again my favorite pack, and when it came out, it was just a really big hype. I loved building with it. I still love building with it, and there are also a few builds upcoming that I kind of plan on doing with Cottage Living. Also, thanks to my best friend who suggested I would do that. She's really the main inspiration and main source of ideas for me when I'm stuck. So big thanks for the idea to make something more with the cottage living and generally cottage lifestyle. But yeah, what I want to address here is the struggle of me putting on curtains on these windows, and also the struggle of trying to fit a double bed in this small room, because I initially wanted it to be just a small guest bedroom, but then I figured out, okay, if there's a guest bedroom, then they will need a bathroom as well, so I just sectioned off a portion of it and tried to make it work as best as I could. And also you'll see me struggle with the roofing tiles as well, because this bit is a pain to work with. So what I did was I just added the pieces that I could, then removed the other roofing and just did the very same on the other section. But yeah, to not fumble this bit up again, my friend is really helpful with ideas about builds, and I am really looking forward to try and explore her build idea that has to do a lot with cottage living and generally living on the land itself. Now, while I am trying to remodel and redecorate the bedroom, I want to address the lot change. The original family farmhouse was done on a 30 by 20 lot, because back in the day when I started recording the speed builds, I was kind of scared to do bigger builds. I didn't want it to be too long, but then again, you can't really influence that, because you have builders who are faster when it comes to building, you have builders who are slower when it comes to building, and I'm definitely one that goes into the category of you are being a slow builder. But yeah, I was scared to do bigger builds. I was absolutely terrified of doing anything on a larger scale, and I'm really thankful that I finally kind of got rid of that notion and that feeling, so I can just enjoy building and not stress out about that. But yeah, this house is now placed on a 40 by 30 lot, which gives me a lot more space, because cottage living came with chickens, it came with cows and llamas, and I wanted to incorporate that in the build as well. Also the crops, which sadly I forgot to add from the debug, but I did add a lot of planting space, just generally space that you can use to your heart's content when it comes to farm life. I also added this kind of washer dryer corner over here, because I felt like the stairs were kind of underused. There was a lot of space. Obviously there's a lot of storage there, but I wanted to just give it a shot and add something more to it. Now I'm also trying to make some images work, not images, but like pictures, and it's not really working that good. I've also added curtains. I think I kept the same ones, maybe not in the kitchen, but I have definitely tried to add as many cottage living ones as possible. And just generally over here, I think I went with orange. Yeah, I really do like how it looks. but I again had to scoot things over because the Cottage Living windows are not the same. And these, yeah, I went with orange over here, which I think is a very, very nice touch. Now I am working on the foundation, and I think I will also move ahead and try to work on the outside just a little bit. And the first thing is the pond. Yes, with the pond tool finally out, I was so excited. I was basically a dream come true to have an actual pond and not having to work with something that is, you know, just a fountain tool or something. Even though the fountain tool did do its job, I was really happy that we finally got this more natural looking tool for it. And yeah, here I was trying to figure out where I want to put the animal pens, if I can call them like this, and I decided to move the chicken coop all the way in the back, so if you really want to, you can just go through there, get yourself eggs for breakfast, or if you want to make a cake, and that's basically it. I also tried to make it natural, so I added a lot of mud and a lot of shades of terrain paint just to have it look as if it's very lived in, as if it's very used, and so on and so forth. Another thing I was struggling with is figuring out where I want to have the cow/llama shed. And you wanted to have these I don't know how you would even call them. Like, I know there's planters and there's these small fields, but yeah, I knew I wanted to have them there just to be able to plant. I think you can only plant oversized crops on these, but yeah, I went ahead then and swapped my thought process to kind of this rundown fence type from Debug, and I have to admit that I absolutely love the Debug section of Cottage Living, especially Cottage Living, and I do believe Island Living are my absolute two favorites when it comes to debug items and everything you can do with them. Yeah, I was moving back and forth depending on what I saw in the debug section. I also left a couple of things out for later because I knew I wanted to eventually use them, and I just went ahead and did a bit of plants. Over in this area, I did add some fertilizer and soil over here. And what I wanted to do next was kind of try and do a driveway, but then figured out that the driveway wouldn't exactly work out the way I initially wanted to. So what I did was go into debug again, grab the items that I needed, and just try to make things work. So yeah, you see me just go again back and forth between things because I wanted to try and figure out what would work best. And maybe it's stereotypical, but from what I know, you don't necessarily have a normal driveway when it comes to such farms in the countryside. So I just went with what I felt was right, and this felt kind of right. So it's just a muddy pathway in front of the house where you have your car parked or your truck, and basically that's where you have everything and park everything. But I didn't want to go with anything too fancy. And over on here, I'm also finally figuring out how I want the cowshed to be oriented, where I want to have the entrance to it. And yeah, here is me trying to just piece everything together to look as natural as possible. I was toying with the idea of having like these street lamps, but in the end decided against it, and I'm just adding the reminder of the fence. Sadly, I think one tile in front of the other fencing, which I then realized and just scooted everything over. And I think it looks really nice. So I had this empty space over on here and I didn't really know what to do with it. So I first went with the terrain paint again, just to outline the path. And also make sure that the flooring, well, not flooring, but the ground in the cowshed pen was also working with everything I wanted to do. Sadly, well, not sadly, I'm trying to make a barn, like a little barn over here, and I tried to lower the upper walls to a low just to see how it would look, but sadly it messed up everything on the inside of the house, so I decided against it in the end. I think I also paused the video at one point over here while recording, just to go ahead and Google how like these typical cow sheds looked like, and I settled on this look after all. I grabbed some Snowy Escape doors, and I think upstairs was from Cats and Dogs. I think I used a Cats and Dogs window in the end, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what windows would work best and how I should actually do everything, because this is like my first time building a barn. So oh no, I actually went with a Cottage Living lens, and yeah, it's a lot of scooting over, just making sure everything looks fine. And on the inside, I just went ahead with the terrain paint again, just to make everything look more natural. I also went in with these columns that would support the upper part. I wanted to go in with spandrels as well, but I ended up not liking it as much. And what I put in on the inside was just a bit of storage area and mostly arts and crafts things. I also love how these lights came out, especially the ones that are put on the columns. But yeah, there's a lot of skill items over here, mostly like candle making, flower arrangements. I think this is even a fizz drink maker. There's a workbench, just basically everything you could need for a crafts type of thing, but you don't necessarily have the space, so you just put it inside where it fits. Over here I was trying to make this tractor connect with the tool you use while plowing the field, and I think it kind of looked nice. I don't use the tool mod to be able to just, you know, go in and change the parameters to what I would like it to be. But yeah, I'm finally putting on the greenery and just a bit more of the clutter. I kind of figured out where I put the little flower wagon would be kind of like an island that nobody touches, so it's kind of just there. It's a bit overgrown, it's kind of dividing the space, and I really like how it came out. And yeah, this is just me placing a lot of greenery, and it's not just the greenery, I'm also using a lot of pond items, especially the fireflies, the ducks, and the swans. I personally really like how they look, and it's a shame that they don't pop up unless you play in live mode. But yeah, I was adding some rocks as well, and these leaves. I love the debug section of the plants from the base game just because it looks really nice. It's I think from the first world. My goodness, it's the name's escaping me, but yeah, it has that bayou feel to it, and I really like that. Okay, Willow Creek. My goodness, I finally remembered it's Willow Creek. Yeah, Willow Creek has that really bayou feel to it, and I am a big fan of that, especially for the pond area. I also pondered about adding some trees as well, but then I figured out it would perhaps be too much, and it's not as swampy and marshy as I would like it to be for the trees to necessarily work. But yeah, here is me adding some storage to it just to make it feel more in. Yeah, I also tried to see if any of the jungle adventure trees would also work. It turned out they were all too big and too out of place to just work properly. I also found this little cute tree from Island Living, which I really like. So I went ahead and grabbed that one as well. I'm also just adding a lot of these vines and wall plants to the exterior because I want to have it that overgrown feel, and I think I was quite successful in this. I've also kind of struggled to fill out this space with plants because I knew I wanted it to be like really overgrown. I wanted it to be just have this overgrown feel to it, kind of unkept feel, and I think in the end I succeeded. But before that, I just added a lot of sunflowers in these planters because I feel like they do fit in there and look really nice. I tried to make this jungle adventure the shrubbery work as well, but ended up deciding against it. So I just added these chicken and rabbit topiary, and here's finally adding some terrain paint to it to look at more, to make that look even more like a bit muddy and more dirty. And yeah, that's about it for this episode. So thank you so much for watching this speed build. I hope you enjoyed it. In case you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe even tickle that little bell icon. And also, if you want to follow me on my socials, you are more than welcome to. You can do that on Instagram on 2 accounts. If you want to follow the YouTube account, it's Rhea Plays, and if you want to follow my Simstagram, it's simbuildsbyrhea. You can also follow me on Twitter at RheaPlaysYT. And in case you want to download the renovation of this family farmhouse, or if you want to download any other build I put out, it's under the name Bewitched by Stars on the gallery. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!